All right, in this section, we are going to be looking at themes that can be applied on a tenant by tenant level in Hyku. In order to access themes, first log in through the link from the upper right, and that will take you to the administrative dashboard. And then you can access themes through configurations. There's a setting drop down and an appearance button. And then you have a number of tabs across the top. These first several tabs are general appearance tabs or general appearance options. And those changes will be reflected across any theme or incorporated into any theme that you select. So in the themes tab, you have the options to change the homepage theme, which is what a non-logged in user sees when they navigate to your tenant. You have the option to change search results and the option to change what the item or the work show page theme looks like. And we'll go through each of those in turn. When you select a theme from the dropdown prior to saving, the system will load in some notes about the theme that'll include information. Some of the themes incorporate the homepage text, which can be accessed in the content blocks section of the administrative dashboard. Some of them do not. And it'll also include information about, for example, how featured works are displayed to a public user of the theme. So it'll include that information. And then also, a little mock-up here so you can see that this one has a featured works carousel and it displays collections in these tiled blocks. This one has browse by facets in the banner section. It shows where various content blocks will show up. So for instance, marketing text displays there with this theme, displays up here in this theme, and so on. So you get a little preview, and then the same with each of these. So now let's go through the homepage themes briefly one at a time. This is the default theme that comes with Hyku out of the box. I should say these are all themes that we developed in our first round of grant funding, and these have been incorporated back into the Hyku base code. So this is any new application or installation of Hyku will come with these themes built in. So these are now technically all out of the box for a new Hyku setup. But this is the default theme. You have two lists of featured works. You can toggle between featured works and recently uploaded. You can toggle between collections and a featured researcher if you have set a featured researcher. And I should also note that in the features section, which we'll be discussing in a separate recording, you have the option to disable recently uploaded and featured researcher if you don't want to use those. They will be disabled across any theme that you have those set up in. In the default theme, that leads to a kind of a strange situation where you still have the option, you still have this sort of toggle setting, but you only have the Explore Collections button. You don't have something to switch back and forth between. And for that reason, it can lead users to think that the Explore Collections tab or toggle is a button that should take them somewhere, and it doesn't. So it's just a thing you can click on. But because it engages the mouse to or it changes your cursor to select something, it prompts users to think that it's a broken button, when in fact it's just you've disabled half of the toggle. That's only an issue in the default theme, so that's why I mentioned it here. So now I will change this to the cultural repository theme, which is sort of a more cultural heritage, digital repository sort of focus. I'll refresh here. And so this is what this tenant looks like in this theme. So you have browse by featured prominently at the top in the banner section, and each of these facets opens up, and you can see that as they open, they actually expand the size of the banner section, which will play around with whatever image you have set in the appearance section in that banner area. So that's something to consider. Your featured works will be laid out in a static list here. Recent works, if you have it enabled, will be in a static list here. And some recently modified collections will be in a static list here. There's a view all collections button. You'll see that this top header area is also larger. So if you have set a custom logo for this section, then it will, the way that it fits within the header will be modified by the theme that you select. So it's something else to keep in mind. Now we will look at the institutional repository theme, which is more intended for a sort of classical institutional repository featuring academic works, faculty contributions, and that kind of material. And you'll see that the banner section becomes quite a bit smaller. Some of the buttons move down to sort of a second header section, and the top header where your logo would reside is, I believe, the exact same dimensions as in the default theme. It might be slightly different. Also, the name that you have chosen for your repository gets reflected here. So if you do not have a logo set, then it does repeat here, here, and then right here you have search this repository. If you have a long repository name, then that will extend onto a second line, and the header will be proportionally larger because of that. So something to keep in mind. These are sort of data points about resource, what did we call those? We call those stats. Those are statistics about resource types that have been described in your tenant. That is not a required field. You're not required when you upload a work to give it a resource type. But if you intend to use the institutional repository theme and want it to be reflective of the material, then you'll probably want to require users, or if you yourself are doing the metadata entry, to assign a resource type to each work in the repository. If you have more resource types than this, it will become a scrolling carousel, and you can sort of rotate between them. You'll have your homepage text in a box here. Collections are sort of large and centrally featured. I say large, they're optionally large based on the thumbnail that you've selected. So this is a small thumbnail, so it accounts for that. You'll have a box here for recent or for featured researchers, and a box here for recent uploads. Again, both of those content blocks can be disabled in the feature section if you don't want to incorporate them. And the same with the homepage text if you don't want to use that. Those can all be enabled or disabled in the features section. I should also mention that if you use the featured researcher text, there won't be an actual title assigned. If there is no text in it, then it auto-generates this sort of warning text that says that no researchers have been featured. If you do put text in it, there's no title that says featured researcher unless you write that in. So in effect, it's a second content box that you can just place whatever you want. And so you could put, open hours or contact information to more prominently feature that, or whatever you would like to do with it. And then finally, a neutral repository, which is intended to be sort of a halfway point between the cultural repository and institutional repository, but it also has some distinct, unique elements of its own, including that your featured works appear in this carousel. And you can feature, I believe, up to 4 works that will appear in the carousel. You can have more featured works than that, but if you do, only the first 4 that you set as featured will appear in this box. But then you have collections below that, and then again on the side, the boxes for recent uploads, featured research, or content or homepage text if you have those enabled in the features section. Much simpler, the search results page theme. There's a gallery view and a list view, and these are both options in anytime a user makes a search. So if you have list view enabled, this will be the default display in any search. If you have the gallery enabled, this will be the default view in any search. But regardless of which you have set, users can toggle between them while they're working in the system. It only changes the default behavior. And then finally, we have 3 show page themes for a work within the system. One intended more for scholarly display, as in an institutional repository, one more for cultural display, as in a cultural heritage or digital archives, and then the default that came with the system creation. And so what that does is adjust where the title of the work, and the metadata fields, and the relationships box or display appear when a user is viewing a work. So currently we're looking at the scholarly display, which more, let me ensure that that is correct. So this is the scholarly show page for an image, and so the IIIF viewer is incorporated, and pretty standard layout there. This is what a work that does not use the IIIF viewer, but just the embedded thumbnail looks like in the scholarly display, pretty standard for an institutional repository. If we change that to a cultural display, then it adjusts some elements about it. So this is what a work that uses the IIIF viewer looks like in the cultural display. You see that the relationships box is moved up and is more prominent. The citations moves from the left to the right. Larger display of the metadata. And then this is what a work that does not use the IIIF viewer looks like. So again, pulls that out, makes it a little more prominent. This is the description field, and it uses sort of a standard text size, but all other metadata elements are made more prominent. The relationships box is moved up. If this work were related to other works in the repository, that would also reflect in this relationships box, not only collections. And then finally, this is the old Hyku default show page. And so again, this is what a work that uses the IIIF viewer looks like. It's very similar to what we called the scholarly. I think the citations button is in a different place. And so this metadata is pulled center instead of flush to the left. This is what a work that does not use the IIIF viewer looks like in the default display. So that is theming options. If anyone has questions, we can answer that now.
Nick, can you talk a little bit about how the view all collections works differently in the IR homepage theme?
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is a setting that only exists in the IR theme. In all other themes, in all themes, you have a view all collections button. And what that does in most themes is replicate the behavior. If you just, well, it replicates the view for when you do a search, except you will see just collections instead of all items within the collection. The IR theme has a custom setting. So if you go to view all collections, it will just do in a list format, the collections in an alphabetical list, and then take the user to that collection. Again, this is only in the institutional repository theme. If I'll go ahead and show the behavior. If you have a different theme enabled, and you select view all collections, it takes you essentially to a search.
And I think the kind of rationale behind that is that we envision in the institutional repository setting, it would be more likely that you would want just sort of a visual list of collections, which could relate to a list of departments on campus.
Hi, this is Sherry. So speaking of collections, that means we have to have collections then, because that button always shows. And if you don't have things in collections, you get nothing. So in our institutional repository sense, you have to make collections then, I guess.
That's my
Correct. If you have, say, a brand new tenant or a tenant without any collections, and you click that button, I'll share again briefly, but this is what you'll see. And this is if you're, because essentially it is filtering, it is a search that is filtered by collection type. So that button will be there, and you'll click on it and it'll say no results for your search.
Well, actually, this is the default theme. If you go back to the institutional repository theme, that's what I was looking at. And you can't disable that button.
So I'll change this. So this is a brand new tenant. I'll change the theme to institutional repository and see if we get an error message or what. So it does take you to just an empty browse by collection page. So a possible workaround for that in our development is we can add, there's a section for features that you can turn on or off. That's where you disable, for instance, featured researcher. We could add a button to disable view all collections button. And that would be a simple search, but also in the institutional repository theme, as you can see, there is a section that is hard coded to be called collections. And again, if you don't have any collections in the system, then that's just going to be misleading and empty text that just floats on the page there if you don't have collections. So it seems that the institutional repository theme is sort of hard coded to want you to have collections. That's correct.
Nick, are the collections that display on the IR homepage ones that are selected by the administrator as featured, or just like the first few? How does that work?
It's still in reverse order of editing. We don't have a way in any of the themes to select which themes populate the homepage. So as you continue editing themes, then it will adjust those themes. It's a first in, last out kind of system.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you.
So yeah, we're working on a way to either replace collections with featured collections or add a panel in the dashboard where you can sort of take manual control over what displays on your homepage, because as it is, users kind of are at the mercy of their workflows on that.
I have a question. This is John Potty. If you have nested collections, would they show up in that browse list as sort of sub collections, or only the top level collection?
All collections will show up. And so if you're using a lot of sub collections, those will show up in that list.
Okay, like as a hierarchical kind of, in a hierarchical way to show that something.
Just alphabetically.
One flat list, okay.
Because in Hyku, you can add collections as sub collections to one another. But Hyku does not make a hierarchical distinction.
Okay. I see. Thank you.
Hi, this is Sherry again. Another question about the IR theme. In your demonstration, you showed the statistics of the different work types underneath the banner. How does that show up? I actually do not see that in my tenant. Only have one work, but.
That populates from the resource type field in those works. And that's not a mandatory field. So if you don't have a set as a resource type, then it'll be, and that whole panel will be empty.
Okay, I was pretty sure I said it, but I can.
Nick, one thing I wanted to kind of explore a little bit further is the idea of collections and sub-collections in the IR theme. I was just looking at your AU archives and browse by collection using sort of the default method. And it shows that you've got, I don't know, maybe 10 collections. But in the IR theme, it only showed that you had maybe 5. So I'm wondering if it is only showing the top level collections.
That's possible. I will have to do a little more testing on that, because my understanding was that list will populate collections regardless. But no, that would actually be an improvement, I think, if it only shows top level. I think that's closer to expected behavior.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I was kind of looking into it is I thought I remembered that we specified that in the development, but I'm not 100% sure. So I like the idea of maybe looking back on that and letting everyone know what we found out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll check that.
Thanks. Does anyone have any other questions about theming? Okay, I'll stop the recording.
Okay.